I've always said I will be completely honest with you guys.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Appreciate you coming back as always. This time it's going to be a pretty quick video. I'm just going to go over a new product. Well, I shouldn't say it's a new product to the market. There is another company that produces something similar to this, but this is a new product from Nice CNC. And as you guys know, we've done quite a few videos showcasing a lot of their products. And up until this point, I have paid out of pocket for all the products of theirs that I have reviewed. They did, however, send me this product that we are going to be talking about. Now, you're probably thinking, well, if it sucks, he's going to give it a great review because they send it to him for free. Not the case. I will be honest with you, as I am with every other video I have done. So, with Nice CNC's fashion, they are always very consistent with their machining capabilities and the quality of their machining. And it shows in every product that I've gotten from them. I can't say how well this will work straight out of the box because it's not on the bike yet and hasn't been used. But based off of the machining quality, looking at the interior filter, I can get a pretty good guess that this is going to run really well. And you're probably wondering, well, what the hell is it? It is a reusable oil filter with a stainless steel filter in there, spring loaded. So you just push down and twist to get it to pop out just like that. And just pull straight out. Be careful that you don't damage the fins on the filter. There is a spring in there that's loose. You want to make sure you don't lose that. So let's start off with the body. The body is an aluminum casing, right? Laser cut fins, pretty lightweight, not super heavy. I would say it's slightly heavier than your standard throwaway oil filter. But with the fin cut, it should help with the reduction of heat and getting that air to pass over on the housing and possibly aid in cooling it down a little bit, acting as an oil cooler, so to speak. But so yeah, aluminum housing. So that brings us to the heart and the overall, the most important part of the unit, and that is our filter. Now, this setup will run on a road glide. You can put it on your street glide, Road Kings, the breakouts, I believe Softails. I'll drop a link to their website in the description. They have a whole list of bikes that this is compatible for on there, so you can go on there and check it out. These are fairly inexpensive, like 80, I think they're $85, but they're running like 15% off right now. Might 12%. It's either 12 or 15% off right now on their entire website. Here we go. Here is the filter itself. And the filter is made out of 304 stainless steel 35 micron mesh. Now, what does that mean? Super small screen that allows for very fine particles to not pass through and get sucked up into your oiling system. This is going to catch 99% of debris. Now, speaking of catching debris, they have a built-in magnet up here that will catch anything that manages to pass through or is too big to go through, that it's not going to get sucked up into your lines. This magnet will catch it, and that's just sits at the base. That just sits at the base facing outwards like this. So right up against the flange on the inside where your oil is passing through, it's going to have to pass by this magnet, and this magnet will catch any of those larger particles that happen to slip by. If you are having massive metal pieces running through your lines, you have a bigger issue, and you need to obviously get that addressed. To get this on and off, it just uses a 27 millimeter hex head socket to get that on and off. So I'm just waiting for UPS to drop off my AmSoil order, and then I'm going to get started on my 3-hole service. Now is the perfect time of year, especially if you live in the colder climates like I do. Right now, it is weeks away from full-blown warmer weather riding season. So now is the time every year that I do my 3-hole fluids change, and that includes our primary, our transmission, and our oil. So when I change the oil out, this is what will be going on instead of your standard throwaway filter. When I get this on, I'll show you that part. I don't think you guys need to see a full video on a 3-plug oil change. If you do, you can catch this one right here that we did last year. If you want to see the other components from Nice CNC that we have done, you can watch the video here as well. There's a whole playlist. I think there's 4 or 5 videos of different components that we've purchased from them and tested out, and they're all holding up very, very well. So one thing I am pretty curious about is how fat this seal is that they provide with the filter. You guys can see, but it's a pretty thick boy. Like, I'm curious to see how that fits on there. To get it back on, you just make sure your spring's in there, sitting straight up and down. There is a little notch. Here, let me take this off. There is a little notch down there at the bottom, as you can see. And that's just spring's just gonna sit right inside the middle there. And then we just take our filter. Let me give you a close-up too of what it looks like in there. You can see all those little holes all over the place to allow good oil flow. So even though this is a very fine mesh, it's going to allow for a large amount of oil that the bike demands. So to get this back in, again, make sure you're not pinching down on your fins and bending the hell out of them. That would not be good. And this just slides straight back down in. Like I said, there's that spring. So you're just gonna push down on the spring, turn to lock it in place. And you'll know it's locked in place because you'll hear this. Did you hear that? It is locked in place. All right, guys, so quick reminder. Before you pull your drain plug off of your primary to drain your primary fluid, break your bolts free on your derby cover. If you drain your primary fluid and one of these bolts is stripped or you break it, getting them out, that is going to create a massive headache for you because you shouldn't be riding this anywhere without primary fluid in there, and you would have to get this to the dealership or somewhere to get those bolts tapped and removed if it broke off at the stud inside of the primary case. So before you drain it, just break these loose, and it'll help. Once you break that seal, it'll allow air in, and as this drains, the air will be pulled in, helping to get that drained a little bit faster. So just a little tip for you. So there was really no filming this. We got a reusable filter in there. The biggest design flaw is the rubber O-ring for this sits on there loosely, and when you try to screw that in, it just falls off.
I sat out here for a half an hour trying to get that dang thing screwed on there, but the rubber O-ring just kept falling off and falling off and falling off. So finally, I was able to get it on, gave it a half a turn extra to tighten it. So that's on. I just put in 4 quarts. I'm going to let the bike run, warm up, check my oil after it's had time to cycle through. I've always said I will be completely honest with you guys. Until they can figure out a way to get that O-ring to stay in place on its own, if you have the patience, I would say I could recommend it. Anyway, let's see how it runs. If the biggest flaw is just the O-ring, that's only, one thing that you have to mess with when you do your oil changes. But for nice CNC, for you guys for watching this, please, please, please figure out a way to keep that O-ring to permanently stay on there. All right, let's get the bike started and let the oil cycle through. Like I said, so far I've got 4 quarts in, cycle through the system, get into the oil filter, and then we'll check our level. Yes, that is a brick holding up my bike. I need to get a table lift, guys, or a lift of some sorts. Working from the ground like this is killing my back. All right, that's probably up to temp. Let's give this a final check. So yeah, I'm gonna check this, make sure we're good, and then we'll be back for an overall kind of review and thoughts on the nice CNC reusable oil filter.
All right, guys, so final thoughts on the reusable oil filter from Nice CNC. I've had a chance to run the bike consistently. It's holding the oil pressure really well. There's no mechanical issues with it. It seems to be running really good. The temperature on the unit itself is where it should be. It's not getting overly hot. It looks great. It fills out that space really well. The craftsmanship, the machining quality of it, spot on. Really good. I wouldn't expect any differently from these guys because they always put out a really good product that's always really well made. The only downside, and I mean the only negative thing that I could say about it is that damn O-ring not staying in place when you have it on its side and you are threading it back in because it just wants to keep falling off. Once they get that figured out, because I'm sure they will, I reached out to them and I told them like, hey, here's an obvious issue. And I think a lot of people are gonna have this issue and be frustrated with it. So if there's a way you can permanently mount this O-ring to the outer housing, that'll make a night and day difference, and this thing will be a 10 out of 10. Other than the O-ring issue, it's a great product. I believe, like I said, they're $89. They're running a discount sale right now, which makes them like 75 or 80 bucks with the discount. The other company that makes something similar to this, theirs range anywhere from $120 to $170. So there is a price difference for essentially the same thing. Anywhere from $50 to $100 difference. So really, it's just up to you preference wise. I think if you gave these guys a shot, you would not regret it. Again, the only thing that I ran into issues with is that O-ring. So other than that, you guys did an amazing job once again. Appreciate you guys for sticking around. Thank you. Shout out to Nice CNC for supplying the reusable oil filter. If you want to grab one for yourself, click in the description. There will be a link with a discount code to get your own from Nice CNC. With that said, much love. I appreciate you guys, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Until next time. Peace out. Bye.